Hello everyone. Something a bit different and special for you today. Decided to take a chess quiz. Um, so this is available from chess.com, but it directs you to a site called chesspersonality.com. And basically, you answer 20 questions and it tells you what kind of chess player you are. So, yeah, let's jump in, see what happens. Okay, so in this position, which would you play first? Knight f3 or f4? Um, so it looks like a pretty even position. Black actually has a lead in development somehow. Um, so what I would say about this is f4 seems like the more aggressive move, like potentially trying to launch some kind of attack on the king side. Um, Knight f3 seems a bit more just defensive, or not defensive, but slower, a bit safer. Um, One of the problems with f4 often is this diagonal here from the king, and the potential of the queen coming out and causing havoc. So, in all honesty, like I'm not going to look too deeply into this, I would probably say for me, knight f3. f4 just seems a bit too much. So I'll go for knight f3. Okay, have you ever broken anything after a difficult loss? Um, yes, I have broken something physically near me or emotionally inside of myself. No, I just move on to the next game. For me, it's definitely the latter. Um, like when I lose a game, it doesn't really make me angry. I might be disappointed in the way I've played, or um, maybe a little bit frustrated if I start losing more than one game in a row, but definitely not sort of anger. So I'm gonna go for this one. In this popular opening position, black is threatening the a2 pawn. How would you respond? Um, so castling, kingside. I would complete my development and sacrifice the pawn for activity. Or queen d2, I would develop and defend the pawn. I have no problem trading queens after c times d4, c times d4, queen times d2. Um, so black's a little bit behind in development actually. So I think there could be something to be said for castling here. Give up the pawn, and then we're potentially developing with tempo against the queen. We're getting our rook to the a file. All our pieces are in the game. We could potentially bring the other rook to the b file, like dominate the open files. Um, that looks quite cool to me. And there are potential tactics in here as well, depending on where black goes with the queen. So, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards this. Um, Developing and defending the pawn with queen d2. I don't know. It's still an interesting position, I would say. But yeah, I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to go for castling. It's 1 a.m. on Friday, and your opponent just flagged you in a completely losing position. What do you do? Go on until 4 a.m. and lose 100 ELO? Or call it quits and head to bed? Um, so this is something I do. Like, sometimes at the weekend, sometimes after a few beers, a few drinks, I will play some games. And, I have mixed results doing that. But I don't think I've ever lost like 100 ELO, certainly not recently. Um, even when I've had quite a few drinks. So I'm kind of torn between these two. Um, like I probably would sometimes go on until 4 a.m., but I tend to not lose ELO, or not 100 ELO at least. I'm going to go for this one. Go on until 4 a.m. If you could only play one time control for the rest of your life, which would you pick? Bullet or Rapid? Well, I think you guys probably know the answer to that. Um, I'm focusing on Rapid right now, and I am really bad at Bullet. Still not fast enough to play Bullet, I don't think. Maybe never will be. It's just not my thing, so I'm going to go for Rapid. Which superpower would you rather have? Infinite perfect opening knowledge or fastest mouse speed on the internet? I mean, that kind of ties back to the whole Rapid thing again versus Bullet. Like, you only really need mouse speed for Bullet or Puzzle Rush or that sort of thing. Um, and I would say, actually, I have pretty good mouse speed. My sensitivity isn't quite right. I would say for Puzzle Rush, I've noticed that. Like, I need to up that a little bit. But um, I've got a bit of a history in FPS games, and I've played at quite a high level in some games. So my mouse speed is not a problem. My hand-eye coordination is really good. So I don't need this one. So I'm going to go for perfect opening knowledge. How many moves ahead do you typically calculate? As far as I can, or only one move, the best move? I mean, yeah, as far as I can. It depends on the position, depends on the situation. Sometimes it only has to be one move, but you know, it depends. So yeah, I'm going to go for as far as I can. What's the first thing you do when you finish a game? Run game review to learn from my mistakes, or start a new game? This is an interesting one. Like, again, it depends. Like, if it's one of these like late Friday night sessions, it would normally be this, like just start a new game, and then I'll potentially analyze the games the next day or something. But when I'm playing, like for the Road to 1500 series on this channel, I run the game review straight away, and I am keen to do that after most games. Like I want to learn from my mistakes, as it says. So I think this might change in the future, but for now, I'm going to go with what I'm currently doing, which is mostly this, which is running the game review. Which would you prefer? A brilliant move or a 99% accuracy game? That's kind of interesting as well. So, I think I had a 98% accuracy game once. In fact, I think that is one of the videos on my channel, that game. Um, I've had a number of brilliant moves as well. I'm not sure how many. And they're both, getting a high accuracy or a brilliant move is always a good thing. It's always, a little bit of a dopamine hit. Um, so, however, I would say sometimes the brilliant moves that you get awarded, or your opponent gets awarded, I don't always agree with them. Like, I'm not sure how it determines what a brilliant move is, but it's not always 100%, I would say. I'm going to say, I feel like accuracy doesn't tell the whole story as well. Like, you can have a really good game with 85% accuracy, um, especially when you get into these wild positions, and I quite like that. I'm not. Sometimes a high accuracy game can be a little bit boring, so I'm kind of flip flopping on this one, but I think I'm actually going to go for a brilliant move. Yeah, let's go for that. Which statement better describes how you would decide whether to sacrifice the knight with knight g5? Knight takes g5. I would try to calculate different variations and lines to see if the attack is sound, or my intuition will tell me whether 2 pawns and a safer king are worth the knight. So let's have a look at this position. So basically, yeah, we get the G and the H pawn for the knight, and the bishop ends up on G5. We're pinning the black knight to the queen. The G and H files and the black king are completely exposed. However, black potentially has bishop G4 coming, which looks very annoying. Might have to play F3 or move the queen probably to D2, which is not really where it wants to be. The white queen wants to be able to get in. Maybe we can move it to E1, come in that way, come into G3. Yeah, queen to G3 would be a big threat. Like H3, kicking the bishop, and then we could take the knight on F6 with check, winning the piece back. So I'm liking. Well, I've kind of answered the question. I started calculating straight away. So I don't know if the attack is sound. You'd have to spend more time looking at this. There might be other options for black. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for the calculation one. That's exactly what I did. When you look at a chess position, which are you most likely to do first? Evaluate each player's king safety or count the material. That's interesting. Because I kind of do this into puzzles. So I do a lot of puzzles on the channel as well, and one of the first things I do is count material, because it can give you a lot of clues about the position and what the correct move might be in the puzzle. So I guess this applies not just to puzzles though, but to games. So in games, when my opponent makes a move, or when I guess it's not really talking about your own games, it's evaluating positions, isn't it? I guess it could be both. So I don't know. I think I do both. But what do I do first? I think I count material first, in all honesty. But I'm not sure. King safety is something that you just spot as you look at the board, whereas you actually have to, count the material, which you can do very fast when you're good at it. But it does take sort of actual processing, whereas king safety is kind of just a visual thing. Does the king look safe? I'm going to go for king safety. Yes, it's a tough one, that, though. It's kind of very close. If you could only play one puzzle rush mode for the rest of your life, which would you pick? So 3-minute puzzle rush versus survival. So I have played a bit of puzzle rush. I do have a couple of videos on it on my channel. I would like to revisit it at some point, actually. Kind of interested to see whether I can do better than I did previously. I think I got 30 puzzle rush in 5 minutes. That's my current record. I'm not even sure I've played 3 minutes. I have played Survival. I've actually played that on stream as well, and I like that. That's very cool. I like the way it gets progressively more difficult. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to pick Survival, because at least if I don't pick 3-minute. Oh, no, that's not what it says. This is the only mode I can play for the rest of my life. Okay. I think I'm going to go for Survival. So, your opponent just played King E2. How do you feel? So that's some sort of bomb cloud type thing, isn't it? So disrespectful. They think they can beat me with this garbage. I'm going to crush them. Or it should be bad to move the king in the opening. I feel good about my chances. Um, I'm sort of leaning towards the second one. Like, I don't think I would have that attitude about this news. I think um, I would certainly never think I'm going to crush someone based on this because they could just be a very strong player trying to give me a chance. You know, it might not be a malicious thing, or they might just be trying to have a bit of fun. Who knows what their motivation is? I don't see why you should take that as being disrespectful. I mean, within the rules of chess, you're allowed to play any move you want as the opening move. Why should it be seen as disrespectful? I don't know. I find that a little bit odd. I guess if there was a pattern of behavior from someone where they were generally disrespectful and then it showed on the chessboard in this way as well, maybe something to that. But I certainly wouldn't ever think I'm going to crush them based on that. So yeah, I'm going to go for this one. I kind of agree with this sentiment. It should be a bad move, in theory. However, I don't know the theory. I wouldn't say I would feel good about my chances. Um, I've not studied this. I don't know how to play against this, so I would be making it up on the spot. So I'm leaning towards this one. It's not 100%. What would you play in this position? I could not resist a sacrifice bishop takes h7 check, or I would make a move to improve my position more to prepare an attack. Okay, I'm going to have to look at this um, for a bit, guys, just to try and get a feel for the position. Okay, so it looks even-ish. We're both fully developed. I would say white's position is better. Black's bishop is pretty bad. Um, so what we're saying is we're going to sacrifice our good bishop. Does that work? I guess it's the sort of, if they take the bishop, the knight jumps in, threatening the queen to come in as well. Is that not just forced mate? Yeah, I mean, that looks really good. I wouldn't say I could not resist it. If I didn't think it worked, I would resist it. I wouldn't play it. I don't know. This is a tough one. Like, maybe I'm taking this too seriously. I don't know, guys, but um, sometimes the answer is I kind of agree with a little bit of both. Um, it's kind of tough. I'm probably going to go for the sacrifice, just because I'm leaning more towards that one. It looks like it works in this case, so go for that. How do you react when your opponent starts talking trash? Um, I'm not sure I've really had that. There's been a couple of occasions in some of my games on the road to 1500 where the worst that's happened is um, some people have posted emojis sort of indicating that I'm taking too much time. Like in rapid 15 plus 10 games, and it's like, well, you can always go and play Blitz or Bullet, but it's not really trash talking. That's just sort of, I don't know, trying to get me to make a move or something. I find it a little bit rude, and certainly if somebody was actually trash talking me, I guess I would just try and ignore it and just keep playing the best chess I can. So I'm definitely leaning towards the second one here. So it's all part of the game. Anyway, I started the trash talk. I certainly wouldn't start trash talk either. So yeah, I'm going to go with I don't like it, but I keep calm and focus on the game. That's more me. So in this position, white has the promising knight sacrifice. Knight takes f7, exposing black's king. How would you be more likely to justify sacrifice? Black's king will be exposed for a long, long time. After king takes f7, queen h5, check. This must be good. Or, after the king captures, I will use brute force calculation to see if my opponent can thwart my attack. I'm not sure what that means exactly. That's a little bit... Does that second one, and again I'm being pedantic here, but so forgive me, but does this mean um, I wait until after the king captures and then try and calculate to see if my opponent can thwart my attack? Or is it meaning from this position I'm trying to calculate after the king captures, can my opponent thwart my attack? If that makes sense. Um, so let's just look at the position. Knight takes, king takes, queen h5, check. Doesn't that just win the knight back? Aren't we winning the knight on d5? Like, I guess they can play king e6. Is that playable? That seems extremely suicidal. That's, I'm going to say that's got to be good. Like, yeah. Imagine that you're playing your first ever in-person tournament game. How do you feel? I have played a tournament. It was a long, long time ago. I think I was about 13. It was very, very cool. Really enjoyed it. So I can't quite remember. Was it a multiple day thing? I can't remember how many games I played. Certainly, maybe at least four games, and they were full length games. They were like um, potentially up to 6 hours each. It must have been a multiple day thing, but maybe it was the whole weekend. I can't remember, but how did I feel? I remember being really excited and just fascinated by the whole thing. Like, it was such a cool experience to be in the hall with all the chessboards set up and see so many other, serious chess players. And yeah, I was quite young. I wasn't really talking to anyone that much, but um, just being able to see all the other games being played, see the leaderboard. I was just fascinated by the whole thing. I really enjoyed it, and it was a great experience. I think I got a win or two there as well. So that was good. I didn't feel well. Maybe I felt a little bit nervous, but I was more excited. I'm gonna go for. This is a tough one again. I don't think either of these are right for me in the way I felt. I'm gonna go for the second one. I think I was a little bit nervous at first, but I quickly got over that. I don't think that's right for me. White just captured your knight on f6. How are you more likely to recapture this piece? So I guess we're, with the pawn or the bishop. So if we take with the pawn, I double the f pawns. I plan to castle queenside and use the newly opened g file to attack white's king. Or bishop takes, I would capture with the bishop, activating my bishop pair while maintaining a healthy pawn structure. Yeah, so I think I'm leaning towards pawn takes. I do like attacking, and I like that g-file idea. I like the fact we can castle queenside and create the sort of imbalance of opposite side castling. I like that. Looks like it'll be an exciting game. Whereas bishop takes, I don't know, my bishops are both pointing at white's queenside. I guess we have a threat there of doubling white's pawns on the c-file, but I don't know, something seems a little bit just boring about that position. It gives us the opportunity to castle kingside or queenside. Yeah, I'm going to go for the pawn move. Seems more interesting to me. Which more accurately describes your opening? I only play openings that I know well and have carefully studied, or I just play whatever was in the latest Gotham Chess video. That's quite an easy one, I think. I tend to go for things that I know, for sure. You can take a free piece on this move, or you think you can force checkmate, but it's complicated. What do you do? I take the free piece, of course, or I dig in and calculate until checkmate. Um, that's kind of a tricky one as well. I would say that's situation dependent because let's say you're short on time, you might not have time to calculate until checkmate because that can take um, a lot of time. So in that situation, I would probably take the free piece. Whereas um, if I had lots of time left, I would probably try and calculate the checkmate. So I don't know how to answer this one. One piece of advice I got recently on one of, um, from Ed, one of my subscribers, was sometimes just play the simpler move. If you can get a winning position by taking a piece, let's say, just play it. In a couple of seconds. Save the time. And I've been trying to listen to that advice and do that more. And it's a very practical piece of advice, I think. But this is a very difficult one to answer. I'm going to take Ed's advice on this and go for the free piece. Okay. So, apparently, I am the machine. So, machines are relentless opponents, constantly exerting pressure and quickly seizing on errors from their opponents. Machines love to attack, but they are patient and unhurried in the attack, letting confidence and good calculation guide their pieces to the decisive squares. Machines are rarely emotional and aren't distracted by flashy moves. They focus on finding the best move in each and every position. And an example is Gukesh D. I mean, no complaints there. Amazing player. Um, so apparently, I'm more calculation than intuition. I think that's probably true. Wow, I'm like maximum attacking versus positional. Um, I'm not sure that's true. Like I think I can think positionally. Um, like I would expect that to be maybe somewhere around about here. That's kind of interesting. I'm more calm than emotional, and I'm more studious than playful. Which, yeah, I think that's true. So yeah, that's that. So I don't know, guys. Have you guys sat this test? What did you guys get? And I'll put a link to the test in the description if you want to take it yourself. And I'd love to hear what your results are and what you think about them. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.